Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Geeks with Wives podcast, episode 141. I am your host, Jeff Gordon. That's right, your computer isn't broken, your device isn't working, whatever you're using to listen to the podcast on. I am the host tonight, so we will see how this goes. I'm sure it'll be just fine. But tonight, I am joined by Grant Gustafson.
Hey, wait, you're not Joe or Kenny.
Yeah. Oh no. I guess I should go and get him.
We should probably just do it without him. Yeah,
all right. All right. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. And if it goes bad, then I'm sure we can just have Kenny flying from Missouri or have Joe flying from Portland. We'll just see how it goes. So. And actually, I'm glad that Grant's on tonight because he saved this podcast from being a Nintendo Direct 2.0. So very thankful for that. And making his triumphant return tonight is Andrew Barton.
Hey, Jeff. Frankly, I say good riddance to Joe and Kenny. We're better off with them.
Shots fired.
I've actually heard both of them say they would never listen to the podcast if they're not on it, so we're completely safe.
Awesome. And so you've kind of been away from the podcast for a little bit, Andrew. So where have you been? What have you been up to?
Well, you know what, man? Work is crazy, but I'm glad to be back on here. We've had a pretty busy couple of days on Geeks with Wives, and so I feel like it's time for me to make my somewhat triumphant return and let's hash out some E3 news.
Yes. And so you're right. We are going to talk today about E3 and everything that's been happening over the last couple of days. But as always, we like to talk about the games that we are playing. So stick around for the E3 segment. But right now, I want to know, Grant, what you are playing.
Pretty much, I got sucked back into Marvel Heroes by Joe again. Happens every couple months. I've actually taken a break from Diablo 3, and I'm trying to get through a game called Of Orcs and Men, which is an indie kind of not a strategy RPG, but it's kind of like Dragon Age Origins, where it's a little more thought-based. It's not an action RPG, basically, and it takes place from the perspective of orcs. Which I thought is the reason I bought it, actually, is because I've never played a game from who we perceive to be the bad guys, right? Come to find out, they think we're the bad guys too. So it's actually kind of interesting. I like the main character. He's kind of like your stereotypical orc. He's kind of like just all brawn and not a lot of thought to him, but he's counteracted by his sidekick, Styx. Who's a little short goblin that kind of prefers stealth and is a little more intelligent, but very crude. So yeah, I'm liking that quite a bit.
That's cool. So are orcs just misunderstood after all?
They are, yeah.
That's awesome. And so you said you're kind of getting back into Marvel Heroes. Are you a Raccoonitic?
I'm not a Raccoonitic. In fact, last week I felt like such a filthy casual talking to David Bevick and Joe and Everett. I own like 13 heroes, I think, but Wolverine is always going to be my favorite.
Yeah. Well, I think it kind of matches your personality.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Because I'd rather tear everything apart than do any talking.
And the sideburns matches the sideburns.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's true. I actually did do Wolverines like all the way down here, and people advised me not to do that anymore, so I don't.
Primarily Victoria, right?
I didn't know her back then, actually.
Oh, okay.
She's probably glad for that.
Yes. Yeah. That probably was all for the best. Yeah. So Andrew, what are you playing right now?
Well, I've been playing two different games. Muramasa Rebirth, I got it for my Vita. It's an action RPG. If you've played Dragon's Crown, it's pretty similar to that. It's got a little bit more of a Japanese theme to it, whereas Dragon's Crown was a little bit more of that high fantasy kind of trappings, I guess. It's a remake of a game that was actually originally on the Wii. It's a lot of fun. I've played through and beat it with the 2 different characters that offer it to you, and now I'm going through and beating some of the bosses again for a second time, just because, why not? It's a lot of fun. I'm really enjoying it. It's really pretty, kind of fun. It's nice and relatively portable, actually. I've got it on my Vita, so I can just, if I have a spare 5 minutes, then I can just knock something out real quick. So I'm enjoying the heck out of that.
Awesome.
The other game I've been playing, and I imagine you'll want to talk about it a little bit as well, is Mario Kart. I picked that up, been playing that with my wife. It turns out she's better than me at Mario Kart, so she's kind of confused. She doesn't know exactly what to do about this. She's never really been able to kick my butt at a video game before, and she's just serving me. I mean, it's horrible. I'm so sad. But she's fantastic at it, and we're having a heck of a lot of fun.
Yeah. I too am playing Mario Kart 8 right now, and so I have a question: is your wife does she have the drifting mechanic down yet?
Honestly, not really.
Huh.
She got the initial boost mechanic down, like right to kick off the start the race. She just nails that every single time, and she just gets out into the front of the pack, and then she just goes while I'm behind her in second place, trying to deal with the actual people, and then I go like second place, and then on lap 3 I'll fall to like 7th or 8th, and then fight my way back up to like 3rd or 4th, and she's just coasting the entire time in first place. She's like, I never saw anybody. I'm like, well, lucky you. but she's been kicking my butt. She's been working on doing some of the drifting stuff now, and that makes me fear for my own self, because I've been trying to work on the drifting this entire time. So if she's going to start picking up and adding more skills to her repertoire, I mean, I'm just screwed, right? So
yeah, yeah. I'm trying to teach my wife the drifting mechanic right now, because I mean, for me, like, that's the only way that I can get any kind of advantage, because like this Mario Kart feels like it's much more skill-based as far as driving is concerned. Like, if you get hit with a turtle shell, like Lakitu, or if you fall off the track, like Lakitu picks you up and puts you on there pretty quickly, or you kind of recover from getting hit, pretty quickly. So I feel like you don't really get penalized too much for messing up, and you can kind of get back in the race. And so I feel like it allows people to kind of still come back. But yeah, if you are not in first place, you are like in the middle of the pack, and it's just like you're getting pounded like crazy.
Yes, yeah, and that's exactly right. I mean, my wife and I commented just like you did about Lakitu picking you up and bringing you back into the fray much quicker. So that's a lot of fun. You don't feel like you're just sitting there watching, 8 people zoom by you while you're like, well, I can't do anything. So that's good. It makes you feel like you're getting back into the action quicker.
Yeah.
But on the other side, I mean, I think I've gotten hit by 6 items in a single lap. So, I mean, there's all kinds of chaos going on there, and I feel like I'm getting a lot more involved in some of that kind of stuff in this game as opposed to the other ones. It just seems like there's a lot more firing and shooting and chaos and, piranha plants eating you and all that kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
The chaos is definitely there, and you're right. It seems like if you're in first place, you're golden, but if you're in second place, then you're probably not going to be in second place for long.
And Grant,
At least I'm not in second place for long.
There you go. That's the attitude to have. Now, Grant, you are a new owner of a Wii U. Have you played Mario Kart 8 yet?
Sorry, what was that? I had to wake up for a second. I don't really own it. Victoria owns it. I live in the apartment in which it is owned by a person. No, so I have access to it. Let's say that. And I've played Mario Kart 8, and I don't know. It's fine. I'm not a big racing fan at all, and I don't know. Just from that standpoint, it doesn't draw me in. I'm not a big Mario fan, so it doesn't really draw me in there either. So I really just play if she's bored and wants to play.
I understand. Well, yeah, I want to point out one other thing, and that is that I really like the online system for Mario Kart. I mean, no online system is perfect. I mean, you're always going to have some lag and some latency issues. But I
Not
feel
a
like,
PC.
yeah, and I feel like I haven't experienced that too much. I mean, it may be a different story for other people, but I feel like I've had a pretty smooth experience with the online system. So, have you experienced that, Andrew, at all?
I haven't actually really played it all that much online, so that's one thing that I really haven't jumped into. Mostly, it's just been couch competitive with my wife. So, at some point, you and I need to get together and do some races.
Have a double date.
Exactly.
Because you can bring your partner along with you. You can bring 2 players onto the online experience. So
the good news is that this means I can finish as high as 4th place behind my wife, you, and your wife.
Well, give yourself some credit. I think that you'll do just fine. All right. Well, we've talked about the games that we're playing, and over the last couple of days, there's been this little thing that comes up every year called E3, and it's not really that big of a deal. It's just that the whole world is looking at it. Basically, it's like the Super Bowl of video games, and so. Tonight what we're going to do is we're just going to kind of go through Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo's press conferences and see what what we thought about them. So let's start off with Microsoft. Did you guys get to catch the Microsoft conference?
I didn't actually watch it. No.
Well, let me tell you.
Okay.
I was very impressed with it because. Last year, Microsoft, they had I felt like it was a good conference. They had a good event, but, of course, Sony came along and just had this, spectacular, showing of the PlayStation 4, and I feel like Microsoft kind of got overshadowed by that. But,
kicked in the balls, you mean? Yeah.
and so I was really impressed. They didn't mention the Kinect once, and
that's amazing. I really want to watch this now.
Yeah, and you own an Xbox One, right, Grant?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So, are there any titles that they talked about that you are excited about?
Weirdly, I was not expecting this at all. So that's to Microsoft's credit, right? Because a lot of people's stuff got leaked and all that, but I think it's called Fable Legends.
Yes.
That game looks pretty cool. I mean, I'm reserving my hype for it because I'm way too hyped for other games, and I haven't actually seen it, out and working the way that it's shown, right? Because we've been this live before, and especially by Fable. And but if they deliver what they were showing at E3 with the trailer, fighting the trolls, and your buddy can be the bad guy, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That sounds great. So if they can deliver that, that's going to be exciting.
So have you always played do you play the Fable games every time they come out, or have you taken a break?
I got a super late start to Fable. I have not even played the first one. I was going to play the HD remake that was put on 360, but Victoria grabbed that and decided to return it, so I didn't get an opportunity. We'll probably pick it up again when it's cheap. But I can't remember. I think they're going to do the HD remake on PC as well. And that's definitely where I would play it rather than console.
Yeah.
Because Fable 3, well, I started on Fable 2. I wasn't really impressed. I heard from a lot of people that Holy crap. Sorry, I just got blown way off track because I was looking at IGN's like list of games that were announced and stuff like that. Grim Fandango Remastered. Did you guys see that?
Yes.
For PS4?
Yeah.
Or yeah, PS4?
Yeah.
Sorry, that's a different thing, but
No, we can.
wow, I'm excited now. So Fable 2, not that great. Fable 3, I liked a lot. I mean, it was really linear and super short, but I thought it was a great experience.
Cool, cool. Andrew, was there anything that you heard from Microsoft that you liked?
You know, honestly, the thing that jumped out to me the most out of probably any third-party software is Tomb Raider. I really enjoyed the reboot that came out last year, and so I'm really looking forward to seeing this next one. That was actually last year's Tomb Raider was my very first Tomb Raider game, so I had somehow managed to miss her, you know, throughout the last decade and a half or so, and so I'm really looking forward to seeing Rise of the Tomb Raider.
Yeah. Well, I can't fault you for not playing a Tomb Raider game as a person who has never played Final Fantasy VII. So, yeah, it's confession hour, and I just want to confess that to everybody that I haven't
Well,
played.
you know, Jeff, don't feel so bad. I've honestly never played Final Fantasy VII either.
Oh, all right. Well,
I don't like Nintendo at all. I have another one actually. The Halo Master Chief Collection. Really excited for that. I really want to play all the Halo games at 1080p, 60 frames per second. That sounds amazing.
yeah, I mean, I was like a lot of people, I was a huge Halo 2 fan. So I'm really looking forward to jumping back into that. And I mean, you can play it multiplayer, so it's not just the, you know, it's not just the single player campaign. It's the.
I'll kill you on there.
Yeah. Well, I got to get an Xbox One first, but once I, you know, if I can convince the wife to make that happen, then you know, I will definitely join you. And
just convince Joe to start paying you. I mean, you hosted the podcast. You saved our skin. You deserve it, dude.
Well, so everybody just tweet at Joe Barhoum and just, you know, send a little hint his way so that I can get an Xbox One, and maybe we can throw in something cool for Andrew and Grant as well. But all right, so we I really did like everything that Microsoft did, and hopefully we'll get to see a lot of, you know, great stuff from them, and then, you know, in the following conferences like TGS and some other ones. So we'll see. And one other highlight I wanted to point out was Sunset Overdrive. I think that looks really, really cool and just something unique. You know, I think that's something that Microsoft needs to do, is just kind of, you know, we're in a day and age where a lot of the titles between Sony and Microsoft look so similar. I like the look of Sunset Overdrive, and, you know, maybe, I don't know, it may be a game where you kind of get burnt out really fast on it. It may be repetitive, but I mean, right now it looks pretty promising, so I'm excited about that. Are you excited about Sunset Overdrive, Grant?
It looks interesting. I won't say excited because I don't really. All I've seen is the crazy art style. I haven't seen anything else about it.
Yeah.
I should probably watch whatever trailer or gameplay they put out. But as of right now, I'm interested.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I do like, you know, I would encourage you to watch the trailer because I thought it was really funny. It starts off with this guy that looks like he's in every, like, generic first-person military shooter. Mm-hmm. And he's like hiding it, you know, he's like, I have to protect this crate. And, you know, like, you've seen a lot of these, you know, single-player campaigns from these military shooters. And, you know, your main character shows up and he just, like, blows everybody away. And he's like, it's okay, the crate is safe. And so I you know, they're definitely kind of poking fun at some of the other first-person shooters that are out there and trying to contrast themselves from, you know, everything else that is out there. But yeah, so, you know, we'll see what happens with Microsoft. Now, did you guys get to catch or read about what Sony did? I mean, clearly, Grant, you have something that you're really excited about. So, you want to talk about Grand Theft Auto Remastered?
Grand Theft Auto? No, Grim Fandango.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I heard you wrong.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, the old point and click adventure
Okay.
game, Lucasfilm or Lucasfilm, LucasArts.
So,
Yeah.
so what has you excited
Oh,
about that?
I played the crap out of like most of the LucasArts point and click adventure games, the Indiana Jones ones, the I'm blanking on the name, Full Throttle. Those games were awesome, and I missed Grim Fandango. Like I didn't get to play it, so I'm super excited that it's coming back, and I'm gonna play the hell out of it.
Nice.
You know, Grant, you really need to check out the reveal for that. It was actually a pretty funny thing. A lot of these stage presentations can come off as really kind of hokey, and they try to deliver a line, but they're reading it off of a teleprompter, so the joke just doesn't sound right, and all that kind of stuff. But that one was actually kind of funny. So check it out. It's
will.
pretty good.
I will.
I don't want to spoil it for
Did
you
you-
here, but
Did you guys get to play any of those old LucasArts games?
no, I haven't actually played any of them. So the most point and click adventure game I've ever really played is Telltale's Walking Dead. So
Actually, speaking of Telltale, did we see anything from them?
not that I recall.
You
'Cause
have,
they have a lot of stuff in the pipeline.
Yeah, I can't remember seeing anything about Tales of the Borderlands or Game of Thrones or anything like that.
I know that they have I think anything that they're showing is probably going to be on the floor. So if we hear about it, it's probably going to be over the next several days, maybe. So
Yeah.
yeah,
if only we could be there and experience it firsthand. But yeah, so I mean, I am definitely looking forward to anything that Telltale does. Have y'all played? Did y'all play the Walking Dead series? Did you?
Just
Yeah.
the first season. I didn't.
I played the first season.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, I mean, it was awesome. I really enjoyed it. I haven't
Yeah.
played the second season either, but I kind of like to wait for it to all come out so I can just play it all at once.
That's kind of my methodology, Jeff.
Yeah.
It actually backfired for me the first time. I felt so stressed out about having to make all these decisions. I would play through like a 30-minute segment and then just be like, no, I need to put the controller down and step away because
Wow.
I feel so bad about the fact that I just killed this guy so that this person could live, and so I was just, no, I need to take a break, go get it, go out, have Starbucks or something. That probably didn't help get me jittery, but but just try to get out of the situation. I was getting way too into that, so we'll see how it goes for the next one.
Yeah, and I can't even imagine what a Game of Thrones series would be like because apparently everybody gets killed on that show.
Yeah.
So.
I was gonna say spoilers. Everybody dies. So.
I saw a tweet right after the end of I don't know if it was the last episode or what, but from what's that guy's name? J.R.R. Martin or something like that. Who writes the books?
George
He was
R.R. Martin.
George R.R. Martin. Yeah, sorry.
You were combining him with J.R.R. Tolkien.
Oh yeah, probably. I actually know who that is though. No, he was like, "Oh, you were starting to like that character." That's pretty great.
Yeah, well, he reserves the right to kill whoever he wants to, but
Yeah.
man, it's heartbreaking, and so yeah. But whenever Walking Dead season 2 is fully out, I will definitely be playing that. And I wanted to point out one of the things I'm really excited about that I saw at the Sony conference was the Uncharted 4 trailer. They kind of had that at their and one more thing moment that seems to always happen at every E3. And so, did you guys get to see the trailer?
Yeah, I did. I'm really excited for it. One of the things that kind of has me nervous, with the change in leadership there that they've had over this game, the guys who did Uncharted 1, 2, and 3, who were kind of the masterminds, are no longer there, and the guys who worked on Uncharted 2 and then kind of spearheaded The Last of Us are now in charge of this one, and that's a much darker feel, and so I'm a little bit nervous that they're going to lose some of that campy, fun humor, that kind of popcorn Pulp Fiction kind of Indiana Jones feel, and instead try to make it into something that's a little bit more darker and melodramatic. And I'm not really sure that that's what I want in that series. But on the other hand, I'm still excited, so mission accomplished. And I'm sure I'm going to be getting it day one, and that's the Uncharted games are the only games that my wife has ever beaten. So I'm sure that we're going to be invested in this one as well.
Wait,
yeah.
Would she not play Tomb Raider?
She was a little bit turned off by some of the more open world aspects to Tomb Raider.
Okay.
So she may get into Tomb Raider at some point. That's kind of one of those maybe I'll get to it down the line kind of things. Yeah. But the Uncharted one, I mean, she was glued, eyeballs to the television, couldn't blink, couldn't look away. So
wow.
Yeah. That one she's really into. So I'm sure we're going to be there on day one. I'm just a little bit nervous just because it seemed to have a little bit more of an angsty tone.
Interesting.
Yeah. And it looks like Nathan Drake is a little older in this one, so I wonder how much how much longer after Uncharted 3 this takes place.
Yeah.
Yeah, it should be interesting to see. And hopefully with this darker tone, or it may not have a darker tone, but the trailer seemed like it would, and hopefully they don't kill Sully.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's going to be Sully. I'm a little bit worried that they're going to
just kill Drake.
Yeah, kill off Drake. The subtitle for it is A Thief's End, which seems to mean, at least to me,
that's super obvious, though, right?
Well, but it kind of seems like they're just saying, "And we're done with this series." Which
I respect when people do that, because then hopefully they can't revive the series and be like, "Hey, we need to make some money."
Yeah, I mean, I respect when someone has, we intended for this to have a very specific ending, and that's where we're at now. We're finishing it off, and we're not coming back to it. It's like a Game of Thrones character. We're killing it, and it's done. Yeah. But honestly, I think that there's so much more fun stuff that we could have in Uncharted. I'm really looking forward to like another 4 or 5 games, man, at appropriately long intervals between them. But I think that I'm a little nervous that this may be the last one, and if they don't. If they do continue it, then it won't be with the same people, and it won't have that same flavor that I've really enjoyed in the previous installments.
If it's an idea problem, like they don't have enough, have you guys heard of the game Among the Sleep?
No, I haven't.
It's a PC indie title. You play as a 2-year-old. It's like a horror game.
Mm-hmm.
So if they run out of ideas, they could just make Drake like a 2-year-old, and you could run around his bedroom.
Well, that kind of does lead into my theory for the future of Uncharted. Is I think that, and I mean, this is just pure speculation. I haven't heard anything that would make me, say I have evidence for this. But I think that they will possibly go with a younger Drake and tell some more of his backstory, because they kind of did that with the Vita Uncharted, but it wasn't really like an origin story. It was just, like a standalone adventure that he went on when he was younger. It wasn't really like how did he get started, how did he get started doing everything that he did. So I think that could be possible. Or, I mean, you could always have Son of Drake. I mean, that already has a good ring to it. So
yeah. The problem that I have with that one, though, is that if you do that a little bit too much, it may drift into that Indiana Jones Crystal Skull thing, which was god awful. So I want to make sure that we don't go too far in that direction. But yeah, I mean that's definitely an option. I just hope that they do it the right way if they do.
Yeah, yeah. No, I definitely. Well, I mean, as important as that franchise is, I don't think that Sony will, or Naughty Dog will, take the franchise in a direction that is, widely unpopular because it's such a fan favorite. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
It is like just objectively, they're a very quality studio. They have not produced a turd yet, so.
Yeah, and that's true. That's why I'm still excited, despite the apparent mood atmosphere change of the new game. I'm still excited, and it's going to be a fantastic game. I'm not sure if it's going to be the Uncharted I wanted, but it's definitely going to be a fantastic game no matter what.
Yeah, definitely.
So I have all the faith in the world with them.
For sure. And just one last thing. I think everybody knows about The Last of Us Remastered, and that's going to be coming out in July, so that's pretty exciting. But I wonder, do you guys, are you worried at all about PlayStation Now with it being pushed back to a unspecified date at this time?
Honestly, I'm not really sure if I'm the person that they're wanting to be involved in the PlayStation Now. Really, I'm still trying to figure that out. Who exactly is the audience there? I mean, I already had a PS3 and have played a lot of those games. I don't know. I haven't done a lot of reading on it, so I may be, spreading misinformation here. But I don't know about if they'll have PS1 or PS2 games on there, which are really the ones that I would be more interested in because those are the ones that I missed. And this seems, at least initially, to be a little bit more focused on the PS3 stuff. So, granted, I did miss a few, but I don't know that I want to be using my PS4 to play PS3 games when I have a PS3 sitting literally right next to it. So
definitely, and it'll be interesting because there are a lot of games that a lot of PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2 classics that you can already buy and download. So it'll be interesting to see if Sony takes some of those games down or how that's going to work because you definitely don't want people buying a game or maybe that's what they're wanting to do. Maybe they want to get you to rent the game and say, you know what, I think I just want to have this game permanently. So, I mean, that may be what they're going for. But if I can just have a game permanently, I know that it's something that I've been interested in. I think I'm going to want to purchase it as opposed to just rent it for 5 days or 30 days or something like that. So, go ahead.
I'm really kind of surprised that they're not trying to find a way to roll this into the PlayStation Plus program, really, because that seems to me like where you could try to do something with that instant game collection and the free games that you're getting there, try to incorporate it somehow that way, rather than having two different subscription services that fulfill similar purposes with different methodology. I mean, that just seems a little bit confusing to me, but I'm not such a clever guy, so maybe I just don't see it. Well, one of the other things, if you don't mind me taking a left turn here, Jeff, one of the things I was interested in seeing was the fact that they're going to have special television programs, video programs that they're launching on the PlayStation brand that you can access through PS Plus and that kind of thing. I just thought it was really interesting that Sony's doing that now. A year ago, Sony said games, 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 and Microsoft said, look at these TV things we're doing. And they got just harpooned for it. And then this year, what happens? Microsoft says games, 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 and Sony says, hey, television. So I thought that was really funny. I'm interested in the TV show that they were talking about. that animated superhero show, Powers, I think it was.
Mhm.
But it seems right up my alley. I just thought it was a really interesting tactic when last year your competitors did the exact same thing and just got nailed for it, and then this year you try to do the same thing.
I don't think it was a big focus for Sony, though, right?
It wasn't as big of a focus, but I just thought it was a funny note, I guess.
Yeah.
So
So a little ironic.
Yeah, and I mean we forget about I forget about this sometimes, but Sony does so much more than just the PlayStation brand, and really I mean the PlayStation brand is where probably the only place that they're really successful in, and so I mean it makes sense that they're trying to pull from other avenues and maybe try to get their Bravia TVs selling, or just try to spread their wealth around by leveraging that PlayStation.
yeah. Well, I mean, they have movies and motion picture arms and that kind of thing that I think are doing okay. They're not making as much money as the PlayStation brand, but they're also not just hemorrhaging money like the TVs or the Sony Vaio computers. But I think they sold the computer arm. But
Yeah.
anyway, getting a little bit more interconnectivity, and we had heard, I think, just around that they were trying to talk more with each other and get Sony movies talking to Sony Music, talking to PlayStation, and trying to find a way to integrate some of these things a little bit. And I can see that, I mean, Sony made the Spider-Man movies. How great would it be if they had some kind of interconnectivity with the movies and PlayStation Plus, and they give away a couple of movies every month, just like the games. And you get one movie a month. This month it may be Amazing Spider-Man. 2 months from now it may be, I don't know, some other Sony movie, but something like that. It could be it could be interesting, and I can see how that could play in here, but I don't know. I'm just making stuff up now, so.
It's okay. Well, if they go with that idea, we may have to start asking for royalty checks for Andrew.
Yes, that's exactly what we should do. That would be fantastic. It would make work a lot less stressful.
Well, we definitely enjoyed what Sony had to bring this year, and but last but not least, and certainly not least in mine and Andrew's hearts, not so much Grant's, but that's okay. We all have different tastes. But what did you guys think about what Nintendo did today? I mean, it was like a full day of just Nintendo news. So what do you guys think about it?
I was really kind of blown away. I know a lot of people make a big hoopla about the fact that they're not doing a press conference on a stage and that kind of thing. But I halfway through the video, I was watching with my wife. I brought her up a lot this episode, but I turned to my wife and said, the great thing about doing a pre-recorded video is that a lot of their lines aren't messed up because of a teleprompter. They're not like reaching the end of the line and then pausing for 3 seconds while it scrolls and then they read the next line. Mm-hmm. They're able to work out some of these jokes and do that kind of stuff. They're able to incorporate a fist fight scene between Reggie and Iwata. They can do claymation videos in the Robot Chicken style. I mean, it's all kinds of really fun, like campy, dumb Nintendo stuff that actually comes out as amusing in a way that doesn't really translate if you would try to do that as a live show, where like I said, some of the jokes fall flat. The Tim Schafer Grim Fandango reveal, that worked, but that was actually a little bit of a was it a video or was it just a static picture? Either way, it was pre-canned, and they just had some guy narrating with it. And that made it a little bit, more authentic in a way that the Nintendo video was a little bit more authentic. And the stage presence, I'm not really a big fan of. So.
Yeah. And they almost have to do that because when you have those, when so many of your games are developed in Japan and you're going to talk to your, developers, you can't have, 1 minute of, Japanese language and then another minute of English language. It's just very, I don't know. It feels interrupted, I guess.
Yeah, it's not a very exciting, compelling video when you're just half the time you're watching Bill Trinen watch a Japanese guy talk, and then he turns to you and says, "He said Mario is going to be wearing a red shirt and blue overalls in this game." It's not all that exciting. It loses some of that dynamism. So I completely agree with that point.
Yeah.
It's much more exciting this way.
Mm-hmm. And we were talking about Mario Kart 8 earlier, and I was really excited because they introduced the Amiibo platform, and so you're going to be able to take these little figurines and put them on your gamepad, and maybe download a new Smash Brothers characters because they alluded to that, but you'll also be able to do that with Mario Kart. I'm interested to see how much more money Nintendo gets to take out of my wallet because of these figurines. But
I'm already in trouble for how much money I'm going to be spending on those little figurines. But I just got a dirty look. But the name is ridiculously stupid for those things.
Yeah.
But I'm going to be spending a lot of money on them anyway. So what's in a name? I'm quoting Romeo and Juliet here. It doesn't mean anything. A rose by any other name would it not smell as sweet? So I mean, Amiibo, whatever.
Well, hopefully it doesn't.
It's stupid. I wish they had come up with a better one, but it's not gonna deter me in the slightest from buying every single one of those little things.
Yeah. Well, I guess I understand why they did it because it's a name where people have to think about, what does that mean, and it kind of gets them asking a question as opposed to just giving it a very generic name, and it may sound a little bland, like Nintendo figurines. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe Nintendo's right on, and maybe it's somewhere in the middle. Maybe Andrew and Nintendo can just meet in the middle and find just a better name for that. Did you guys get to see the new Zelda trailer? It wasn't really a trailer, but they kind of showed a little clip from it. Did you guys get to see that?
Yes.
I recall a trailer. That seemed like a trailer.
Yeah. It was definitely a trailer. And I wept. It was beautiful. It was gorgeous.
What? No, Andrew, no. You did not weep. Tell me you didn't.
Okay. I may be exaggerating, but it was fantastic. I loved it. It was great. That looked exactly like what I want the next Zelda game to be. So, Grant, you can stop laughing.
You really like that cell shaded, huh?
I enjoy the cell shaded look.
Okay.
I think the ultra hyper realism is not really the best way to go, and I think everybody was really pushing in that direction. So I'm glad that Nintendo tried to do something a little bit different. And honestly, out of all the art styles,
how many years in a row can we call cell shading different?
well, a little bit different.
Not specific to Nintendo, but
yeah.
There's been it's a pretty common thing now.
Yeah, but it's not as common as ultra realism.
Yeah, no, I get that. Yeah.
So I'm glad they're trying to stay away from that path. I think that the art style honestly reminded me more of Skyward Sword, which actually was my favorite art style out of all the Zelda games. So it seemed to have the appropriate balance of cartoony and somewhat realism to me. So I think that strikes a good balance there between Skyrim and Wind Waker. So.
Yeah, it definitely seems like a kind of a mixture of those two games, and something I'm really excited about is that Andrew? Do you know the name of the director of that series?
Eiji Aonuma.
Yes. So when he was talking about how, you see that mountain off in the distance, you'll be able to walk to that mountain. It won't be parts of Hyrule, or I'm guessing it'll probably be Hyrule, but there won't be parts where you can see it off in the distance. And, unfortunately, I can't go over there, although that area looks really cool. I just love the idea of, being able to kind of go wherever I want to go in Hyrule, and knowing that when I get there, it's going to be beautiful, and there's probably going to be some secret area that I got to find, and I'm really excited, and it's something that I liked about Wind Waker and how open that world was, but it did feel like they said in that digital event, it did feel disconnected. So, I'm really looking forward to what a lot of people I'm hearing are calling Zyrim, because it's like a mixture of Zelda and Skyrim. So we'll see.
Let's see if this is.
Head.
No, I'm not. Let's see if this can be the Zelda that gets me into the series, because I have tried before, and it is not. It's been unsuccessful. So it's probably my fault, right? Millions of people love it. I know that this one's on me, but let's see if I can get into it.
Well, I won't fault you.
I actually have heard a lot of the Skyrim comparisons for this, and honestly, I don't really understand that, I guess, but maybe that's just I have absolutely zero interest in playing Skyrim or any other Elder Scrolls game. I don't know. Just like the Zelda thing is on Grant, this is probably on me. But I don't really see the appeal to those, and I'm sure I'm going to get a bunch of tweets after this airs explaining to me why I'm wrong. But this, to me, seems like a Skyrim that I could get behind. Maybe it's just the Zelda trappings, but I instantly see the appeal in this Zelda. So maybe it'll.
Well, if Andrew's gonna like it, then I'm probably not going to.
On principle.
And I know that we are coming toward the end of the show. I just want to talk about one other part of that digital event, and that was funny enough, still kind of on the Zelda topic, Hyrule Warriors. I was kind of skeptical about this game when they first talked about it, because I was never really a Dynasty Warriors fan. But I feel like after today, I'm like, I think I might get this game. It looks pretty awesome.
Yeah, I was probably going to get it anyway, but I may have waited until it went on sale or something like that. Now I think I'm a little bit more vested in seeing this right out of the gate. And it has co-op. I've never played any Dynasty Warriors game. I don't know if that's new for this one or not.
No, that's normal.
Oh, is that normal?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, I'm interested in seeing how this would play out with being able to play as Zelda and Impa and Midna and maybe other characters. We don't know. But I'm kind of interested in seeing that. So.
Yeah, it should be very exciting, and I look forward to hearing about more of it in the future, and hearing what characters we can play as, and if Nintendo's going to make us buy figurines to plug into this game. I am kind of getting a little worried. I'm getting a little scared, because there's so many Nintendo games where they make you pick from different characters, and so I'm thinking, oh gosh, what are they going to be bringing this new system into now? But we'll see.
Jeff, did you get to see? What was the name of that shooter that Nintendo revealed?
Splatoon.
Splatoon. Yeah. Did you get to see that?
I did, and I'll tell you, it looked like just a kind of very generic type of shooting game.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe like one that you would find on the sales rack at Walmart or something like that. But when I kind of saw more after the digital event, when they had like the Nintendo Treehouse and they were showing people playing it, I was very excited about it, because if people are hearing this and they haven't, if they don't know what Splatoon is, basically it's 4-on-4 battle where you are trying to splatter the map with your paint color, with your team's paint color, and when the time runs out, whoever has claimed the most territory in paint, wins. And so it's really cool because the more paint you get on the map of your own color, the faster you can move through it. Funny enough, you turn into a squid and you can swim around in it. So that's some very zany Nintendo type stuff going on right there. But yeah, I'm really excited about it, and maybe one day the Geeks with Wives crew will be able to dominate the world in Splatoon.
I think I've gone on public record here on the show before saying that A, I'm not very good at shooters, and B, I'm not really into them, so I just get progressively worse, I suppose. But this actually seemed like one that I might be excited about, probably because it just seems to have that little different feeling or flair to it. So I can definitely see what you're saying about having that little almost sales rack kitty kind of mentality to it, but at the same time, if it gets a little bit of that spark of that Nintendo magic, then I can see that this could be really fun and really enjoyable. I have high hopes for it, so I'm hoping that it turns out to be really good.
Yeah, I mean, Nintendo's never going to be able to compete with these gritty shooters, so it's like they have to go the opposite direction and make something that's more lighthearted and more accessible, if you will. So I definitely understand the mindset that Nintendo has with it. So like I said, when it comes out, the Geeks with Wives crew will be on that, and we will take on the world, and we will paint the world red. So that about covers the conferences. At the end of every show on the Geeks with Wives podcast, we like to give a final thought. And so, Grant, I thought I would let you have the honors of going first tonight.
Okay. So I think I mentioned either last week or the week before. It was probably the week before, or whenever I was on before last week. But October 7th is going to be a busy gaming day for me. Dragon Age Inquisition and Shadow of Mordor are going to come out on the same day, which is just I don't know what I'm going to do with myself. So I was thinking about Dragon Age Inquisition. I love the Dragon Age series. It's just AAA quality all the way around. This one looks to be even better. But there's a game coming out. I think it's supposed to come out next year, but it's called Kingdom Come Deliverance. It's a lot lesser known. It was on Kickstarter. I think it got funded a couple months ago. But it looks to be like as ambitious, but without the money to back it. So I think it could end up being like a B experience, which the more I play games like Two Worlds, Gothic, the more I kind of appreciate the kind of, I don't know, campy B movie-esque RPGs out there. I recently completed Alpha Protocol, which I was surprised at myself for making it through it, because it's basically an RPG, right? It's got leveling up and all that kind of stuff. So I'm looking forward to this. I hope that it's not as good as they're making it look, and it does come out as like a B experience, because I'm going to have The Witcher 3, I'm going to have Dragon Age Inquisition. I'm hoping for some crappy RPGs that I can play. It's kind of a weird mindset to be in, but I'm excited.
No, I think that's great. You have to sample all of the different RPG flavors.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah. I like that. Well, I wish that more people would have your mindset, Grant. I wish I would actually have some mindset. So Andrew, what is your final thought for this evening?
Well, I've got a couple different final thoughts here, but let me get the first one out of the way. I am actually planning a little bit of a vacation, much needed, at the beginning of July. My wife and I are going to Vegas. So if you guys can think of anything that I should be doing in Vegas, and my wife would want to do in Vegas, let us know. You can tweet at us and tell us what we should be doing. So everybody out there who enjoys Geeks with Wives, please let me know what I should be doing in Vegas. For the actual final thought, American Ninja Warrior is back on TV, and I gotta say, I think this is the best TV show that is currently on TV right now. I just get so into it, just seeing all these guys do these amazing athletic things, and it's honestly inspiring, and seeing how they all come together as a community to support each other, trying to take on these ridiculously complicated obstacles, and seeing what they overcome physically, emotionally, mentally, in order to do so. It's just really great. I am really enjoying this. A lot of different like competition style TV shows, they kind of pit contestants against each other, and they talk bad about each other, and they try to bring each other down and all this kind of stuff. When you watch American Ninja Warrior, you can actually see the other competitors rooting them along and saying, come on, you can go, you've got this, you can do this. And I think it's really great to see that kind of that positive energy building up there, and seeing how it actually translates to success for these guys, and seeing some of the things that they are able to do. I think that if I spent my entire life training to try to do some of these things, I would just fall flat on my face and be the most ungraceful exit ever from the show. But it seems to be working for these guys. So if you haven't been watching this show, you really should check it out. It's on NBC, and it is just a heck of a lot of fun. So guys, check out that TV show.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. And the thing that I love about that show is that you have like the smallest guys that usually stand out the most. It's like the smaller you are, the better you are at that show.
I'm looking at some of these guys, and they, I was not that great of an athlete in high school or middle school. I didn't do anything in college because I was a terrible athlete before that. But I was 5'6" and 120 pounds, and then looking at some of these guys, they're 5'6" and 135, 140 pounds, but that's because they've got 20 more pounds of muscle. But they are small, thin guys that are just able to do these ridiculous things. So it honestly can be a little bit inspiring. Maybe even I could do something like that if I had the time and motivation to really get into it. Perhaps even someone as horrible as me could do this. So I think that it exactly like you said, it's a great inspiration, and it's great to see these guys do these things that you feel like they shouldn't be able to do because they're 5'6".
Yeah, I totally agree, and maybe one day we'll see Andrew on American Ninja Warrior.
That would be amazing.
Yeah, I'll be the guy in the audience cheering.
Nothing short of that will get me to watch that show.
Awesome. Well, my final thought is kind of a plug for the website. Right now we have 3 articles that are up. We have one by Jeremy Gregory on the Sony E3 press conference on what stood out, and then we have another one by Jason Wagner about the Microsoft E3 press conference on what stood out. So I would definitely check those out. I've read them myself, and they are, great quality stuff. And of course, I will have one. I'll have to plug myself, and I will have one on Nintendo. And so, yeah, I know, big surprise.
And that's and that's live now. So check it out.
Yeah. So once again, we always appreciate it when everybody listens to the show and tweets at us and lets us asks us questions and lets us know what they want us to talk about. And if you want to reach us on Twitter, if you want to reach Andrew on Twitter, where do they go, Andrew?
At ACBarton08.
There you go, at ACBarton08. And Grant, where can they find you on Twitter?
At Grant It Is.
Grant It Is. Or Grantitis, right?
Absolutely. Or something much more dirty.
Oh, yeah. We've all got a case of granditis around here.
Yep.
And you can find me at General Jeffrey. So we definitely appreciate you listening to the show, and we look forward to hearing from you next week on the Geeks with Wives podcast episode 142. So 141 is done. Have a great week, and we will see you next week. Bye.
Bye, guys.